Hello, hello, hello! How are you guys doing this evening? It is 2:32 a.m. on Saturday evening, going into Sunday morning. The Saturday night dance club right here in the car. I was just listening to some music and some old tunes. I was listening to General Public. I love that song, Tenderness. And then I love the song, I don't know what the second song is called. Something like, I've Never Done That, I think. That's like my favorite of theirs. But anyway, and then I was listening to, I was like, oh, I love that song by Stephanie Mills. Never felt love like this before. You know that song? Oh my God, I love that song so much. If you watch the show Pose, there was actually a fantastic scene with that song, and I loved that song when I was younger. It was a song that I remember a lot of drag queens doing when I first came out, because when I came out, drag queens didn't do a lot of, it's like this has changed a lot over time, like RuPaul's Drag Race, which I adore, you know, but like it is, and I'm so happy that it's brought so much attention to the art of drag and all of that, but like they do so much like pop cultural references from today, you know, so many of them, and like the songs they perform are like songs from today and stuff like that. Although I saw this fantastic rendition of Patti LaBelle, Somewhere Over the Rainbow, that Bob the drag queen did, because I was watching Johnny McGovern on Hey Queen, and I love Hey Queen. I've watched like literally like every episode where he's had like drag queens on it and stuff. And so he was talking to Bob the drag queen about, it was like a Pride Day performance that Bob did of Somewhere Over the Rainbow by Patti LaBelle, which I love that song anyway. I'm like a huge Patti LaBelle fan. And it's the version that's live from New York City. If you've ever had that CD back in the day, I had that. That was like a gay staple back in the day. And I keep on biting my mouth, you guys. It just keeps on getting worse and worse and worse. I just keep on biting my mouth, and then it's like my lisp just keeps on getting worse. But anyway, it may be here to stay for a while. I hope not. I have a LaCroix right here. A hibiscus. Is it a hibiscus? I think it is. Yeah, a hibiscus LaCroix. So I'm going to open that right now. But anyway, some drag queens from RuPaul's Drag Race do like older songs, I guess. But most of them do like, you know, a lot of current songs and whatever, especially I think the younger ones. When I came out, most of the drag queens that I would like see perform did, unless it was like a national pageant and they were doing like dance mixes and things like that, most of the drag queens that I saw perform, and even then, they did like kind of old school songs like Stephanie Mills and like there was a lot of disco that they used to do, like Knock on Wood, and there was this drag queen in Indianapolis, her name's Lena Myers. I think she's like in Kokomo, Indiana now or something, but anyway, she used to always do knock, knock, knock on wood. And she would wear like this dress that was like all fringe, and she would just spin and spin and spin and spin. I know none of these names would mean anything to anybody, but like when I came out, I was like, and I was kind of like thrown into that world because I became friends with so many of the drag queens when I came out, that to some degree I was kind of like raised by that community. And I always looked up to them almost kind of like they were celebrities in Indianapolis. Indianapolis was such a big like drag hub when I came out. And you know, like that's who I hung out with, were the like Jamie Hunter was like such a big deal here in town at that time, and Gina Jones, Stacey Stevens, they had all won like national titles or had like placed in national titles, and they were all friends with each other. Several of them like lived with each other. What was Blake's name? so many. And I mean, Indianapolis at the time that I came out had like 10 or 15 really well-known drag queens. And it was so fun. I remember back in the day, Alexandria Priest, who was like a good friend of mine, Alexandria Priest, Lena Myers, and Jamie Hunter would do that In Vogue song at the Metro on Wednesday nights. And every performance, like every Wednesday night, they would start the show by doing that In Vogue song, you know? I can't remember what that song is, but boy, do 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 do. You know that song? They would come down and they would all be doing that. But like, all of our nights always started by seeing drag shows. Like Wednesday nights, we would go to a drag show at the Metro, and then Thursday nights we would go to the 10. And we would see shows. And then Friday nights, we would go to the Metro again, or there was Club Cabaret, or we would go to the 10. We would see shows, and then we would go out to the night to like NYC, which was this gay bar on Mass Ave in downtown Indianapolis, or we would go to OP's, which was called Greg's as well. And, but we would always start, the weekends. Or if we went to like Louisville, Kentucky, we usually went to Louisville, Kentucky, like if we had a friend performing down there, and then we would all just like, you know, we would all head down. Like if we knew somebody that was performing at the Connection, we would all like the Connection in Louisville, Kentucky was like this big bar multiplex. It had like a restaurant, and it had, you know, like a stripper bar, and then it had like a huge dance floor that had like this area that you could walk around and look down, and this bar that went down one side of it that was like a really nice bar, looked down, that had like cages and stuff in it. And then when I first went there, the dance floor, then like there was an outside part of the bar, but they ended up enclosing all of that. It's so weird to me to think that that bar is completely gone now. Like that was such a huge deal. I can remember going down there for like, we would always go to Louisville, Kentucky for, which I was quickly informed that it's Louisville, not Louisville. But we would always go down there for 2 big weekends in Louisville, Kentucky. Pride Day in Indianapolis is a huge ordeal. Like Indianapolis has, I think it's supposed to be like one of the biggest pride festivals in the country. So Pride weekend here is always a big deal. And so we would always do Pride Day in Indianapolis, but like we would go to Louisville, Kentucky for 2 big weekends, and they were 2 weeks apart or 4 weeks apart. If you're from Kentucky, you'll know. I can't remember. I feel like they were 2 weeks apart, but one was Thunder, which is Thunder over Louisville, but it was just called Thunder. And I think it was like, it's like the first weekend of May. I don't know. I could be completely wrong. I don't remember now. No, it couldn't be. Well, I think it was the first weekend of May or the last weekend of April or something. And it's these huge fireworks that they, that are all over the city of Louisville. And it's to like kind of, it's like the beginning of like Derby season, the Kentucky Derby. And then Derby weekend in Louisville, Kentucky was like, oh my God, it was so much fun. And I remember my roommate at the time, she and I went down there one Derby weekend, and she was obsessed with Dan Cortez from MTV. Do you guys remember him? I remember he later was in they did a remake of that movie, The Lottery, the story by Shirley Jackson, and he was in it. But she was obsessed with Dan Cortez, and he was down there that weekend. And he was supposedly, like, people were saying that he was at the Connection, because a lot of people that were, like, straight would come to the Connection, too. And, I remember like I can't even remember who we stayed with that weekend, but the whole weekend she was trying to find him because she was obsessed with Dan Cortez. I don't think she ever found him, but you would see celebrities, you know, out at the Connection because the Kentucky Derby is a big deal. And that was always a really fun weekend. And I can remember, like, they would literally close the street off where the Connection was because there were so many people coming in and out. And now to think that that bar is just gone is crazy to me. You know, people don't, like, well, I mean, minus COVID, like, you know, take away that situation. Even before then, like, people don't really go out to gay bars as much as they used to. And if they do, I think in big cities, I think it really is kind of around drag, because I think RuPaul's Drag Race should really, you know, people should thank them for getting people interested in that again, because it was dying. People weren't going out to bars, you know. I think the apps, the hookup apps and stuff changed all of that. I think people, you know, would go out thinking they were going to meet somebody and all that kind of stuff. We have a friend of ours here in town that owns a gay bar, and I can remember talking to him 6 or 7 years ago, long before I was on YouTube, and it was kind of at like the beginning of like the apps getting really big, and he was like, yeah, people don't come out anymore. And he was like, you know, and if they do, they come out with their friends for like a drink, and then they go home by 10 or 11 so they can hook up with somebody on the app. Back in the day, it was such a big deal, you know, like, we would go to brunch, and then we would go shopping for the outfit to wear that night, and then go home and take naps, and tan, and get ready for the evening, and then we would, like, meet up, and, you know, pre-drink, and go out, and it was like, I mean, you thought you were going to meet the love of your life that night, you know, always, and we'd dance all night long, and get all hot and sweaty in the bar, and then we would stand out on the street for another half an hour, just everybody talking to each other, you know, and it was fun. It was an era. It was just, you know, and I think it's a bygone era now. You know, even when Alex and I went to Los Angeles, the first time that I went 2 years ago, West Hollywood was really cute. Like, I really liked West Hollywood. I mean, I wouldn't want to live there, but it was a cute area, and it's all very gay, you know, and very safe to walk around. At least it seemed that way to me. But like, we went to the Abbey, and I couldn't believe, like, it was kind of dead. I was like, this is kind of surprising to me that it's so dead. And I feel like it was like a weekend night that we went, but I could be totally wrong. But the time that I came back, and I met up with Tia, you remember, and she and I and her boyfriend were sitting there, and all of the bars were packed. Like, couldn't even get it. And this bar that was like right next to where we were at, like, I think we were at Sir, or one of those Lisa Vanderpump places, and the bar right next to us, like, guys were like literally leaning out of the bar windows. Like, you couldn't even get in. It was so packed. Now, I will say, when Alex and I went to Denver, not Denver. Denver was always a really fun city. It was like those bars were always really, I don't know, maybe it's just Indianapolis, but when Alex and I went to Dallas last year, and we went out with our friend, he took us to like so many bars, and they were packed. Like, those bars, we went to this one bar, it was like a country western bar, but then they had like a drag queen that did this like 2-hour, like, she like hosted this like dance thing. They did like all kinds of stuff. It was really funny and fun, and that bar was like packed. Like, you couldn't even walk through there. So I guess it's not true. I guess some major cities still have like a really, but Indianapolis is not that. Well, I mean, I haven't been out to a gay bar, and I don't even know how long in Indianapolis, but Alex every once in a while goes to this bar on Mass Ave called Teeny's, and I'm like, is it packed? And he's like, no. He was like, and Metro, he's gone to a couple times, it's still around, and he's like, it's not as busy as it used to be. So I don't know. Indianapolis is very much a suburban town. It's really where I think, like, the majority of the gay guys that I've known who have really never settled down, that, like, they all moved to big cities, like, you know, Chicago or New York or San Francisco or Los Angeles, or some of them have moved south to, like, you know, Fort Lauderdale, but not Miami, but Fort Lauderdale. And but those cities probably have really active, like, gay social lives. Indianapolis doesn't. And, like, most of the guys that I know from back in the day are all, like, completely settled down and, like, married now, if they're still here in town. But back in the day, we used to have so much fun. Oh my God. I remember even there was this guy here in town, I think he's still around, he's a photographer, and he would do this calendar every year, and he would pick like the top 12 most famous drag queens, and it was like every year was like a theme. Like I remember one year they did like musicians, and my friend did like the famous Janet Jackson cover where the guy's like, you know, covering her breast and she's got her arms up like this. But like they would each do something completely different. There were like huge shows back in the day. Like I can remember like, and Indianapolis had like, well, before I came out, this bar, Talbot Street, that's now closed down, used to be the 21 Club. And the 21 Club, like, it hosted national pageants. I think it hosted Miss Gay US of A or something like that. So, like, I mean, there was, like, a big drag culture here in Indianapolis. And back when I came out, too, like, that whole street, like, Massachusetts Avenue downtown is, like, a very artsy area. But when I came out, it was like, I mean, like, if you said to somebody, I'm going to Mass Ave tonight, like, they would know you were going to gay bars. It was all, like, gay bars, and it was all, like, the businesses were gay-owned and operated. Well, I would say 80% of it. And now it's not that. Now it's, like, very expensive condos that, like, young professionals are living in downtown. And a lot of Indianapolis, even, like, people that are like 50 and older, they're selling their houses and are moving downtown around that area. I mean, there's fantastic restaurants down there, and there's like, you know, all kinds of, Indianapolis is really a sports-centered city. So there's Pacer games and Colts games, and, you know, there's a lot of theater downtown. And so if you live downtown, I mean, the reality is Indianapolis is not that big of a city. You're kind of within a 2-minute, 5-minute Uber drive from somewhere, or you're walking distance. Like, not even like a half an hour will get you from one side of downtown to the other. So, I mean, it's really not that far. And most of Indianapolis is pretty safe to walk around down there. It's weird how much Indianapolis has changed through the years. I can remember getting so excited to go out on the weekends. And now it's a Saturday night, and like, so Alex and I went out to dinner tonight with some friends that are visiting, and they're just in town for the weekend. It's our friends that got married last year when we were in Dallas. And we went to this restaurant in Fishers, which is like a suburb, and I used to live there. Like, that was my last apartment that I ever had, was in Fishers. But now they have this whole area that's all built up around these hotels, and there's like an IKEA over there, and that huge golf thing, you know. I don't know if what's that golf thing called? You guys know what I'm talking about. There's like a bar and a restaurant in it, and you can, like, you know, hit golf balls and stuff. I can't remember what something golf, what's it called? Shoot. But anyway, it's huge. It's off the interstate. And then they have this area in there that has all these really cute boutiques and restaurants and really nice restaurants and stuff. We went to this one tonight. It's called, I think it's called Hughes Culinary. And it was really nice. It was fun. And I had a wedge salad with no bacon. It was not the best wedge I've ever had, and it was very small. And then we got hummus as like an appetizer to share, Alex and I. And everything was like, well, my main meal portions were pretty big. It was kind of like higher end. The prices weren't bad, though. The prices were pretty good. And so Alex had a Caesar salad. This hummus was really good. They had like all kinds of like peppers to dip it in, and pita bread and stuff. And they had 2 different kinds of hummus. It was nice. I love like little hummus plates like that at restaurants. And then I got a Diet Coke. And what did Alex have for dinner? Oh, he had a steak burger. It was like a double steak burger, and he had it on like just one like lower, like one bun. He had it like protein style. I think maybe he just had it protein style. He loves getting protein style. But I don't like, obviously I don't eat meat, but it looked so good. And that it almost kind of looked like a Frisco burger or a patty melt from Steak and Shake. And then I was really excited about this. Like, even though I just had it at Ruth's Cafe yesterday, which this was much better though. I had a grilled cheese with tomato soup, and it was oh shoot, what's the word? I can't think of anything tonight. I sat in front of the computer. I came home and sat in front of the computer for like 2 hours doing just stupid stuff. Well, I filmed a video tonight that wasn't stupid. So I filmed a video and I was putting it up, but then I was just like looking at random stuff on the computer and things like I want to buy that I don't need. And I was just sitting there. Do you ever do that? And you just feel like you waste so much time, and now I can't think. What's the word I'm looking for? Mushrooms, but they're called something else. Truffles. So it was a truffle grilled cheese, and then it came with tomato soup, and they brought like this big bowl out, and they had these big croutons that were like French bread cut up, and then they poured the tomato soup over it. It was like, because like she's handed me this like empty bowl, and I was like, what is this? And then she poured because I'm so stupid and ill-mannered, that she poured the soup in there, and I was like, oh my god, this is so excited. And then I got street corn as well to split with Alex, but he didn't want any of it because he had fries with his meal. So I brought the street corn home, like almost all of it. I had like one bite, and then I brought half of my grilled cheese home too, so I'm gonna have that little snack when I get home tonight. Boo and Tucker are doing fantastic. I've been with them all night long too, and we were with them all day. We had to give them their medicine and food. We have to like crush it up. They take this medicine like every 12 hours, and I asked her, I said, is it like pain medication? And she said, no, it's not pain medication. She said it's like, well, it is, but it's not like, you know, pain medication. She said it's like doggy ibuprofen, but it's not ibuprofen is what she said. It starts with a C, I think. And I want to say it sounds like Carmax, but it's not Carmax. It's like Carmat. I don't know what it's called, but anyway, somebody out there probably knows what I'm talking about. So they're supposed to take a half a pill every 12 hours. So Alex gave them their pill earlier today, and I gave it to them when I got home tonight. And I crushed it up and gave it to them in their food, and they ate it really quick. Alex mixed some of their food with water earlier, and so it was kind of like soupier. She called it gruel, and they ate it fine. They seem okay. Boo seems great. Boo is like walking around, and like he seems like unbothered, like nothing happened. And Alex is like, I wonder if, and he was the one that was, you know, in surgery a short period of time, and she said his teeth were so loose they almost just kind of like fell out. But we kind of almost wonder if maybe like Boo Radley feels better already, you know? And Tucker is like holds his head down a lot, and you can just, and he's paws at his mouth, and we've like had to stop him like constantly. We have the thing to put around his head. I really don't want to do that to them because they just can't sleep very well and stuff like that with them. With the, you know, I'm talking about the plastic thing to go around their head. Boo had it on when I brought him home because apparently he was like pulling at his mouth. And then yesterday he just stood there and he just wouldn't move because the poor guy had it on and he couldn't really move around it. And so when he was walking, like the bottom part of it was dragging on the floor. So finally I was just like, buddy, I said, I'm just going to take this off you. And if you start, I mean, he didn't know what I was saying, but I was like, if you start to paw at yourself, I'll have to put it back on. I was telling myself, really. But he didn't. He hasn't at all. Tucker started today. He didn't do it so much last night. He did a little bit, but today he's constantly at his mouth, and it's like one side, and I noticed that his tongue is hanging over the side, and I just think that it's like he's not used to it yet, and it makes me sad for him, you know. And I looked at him tonight. I mean, you know that they don't understand anything I'm saying, right? I mean, you know that. But I said to him, I said, buddy, you're gonna feel so much better in a week and a half when you heal. I said, you're gonna just feel so much better. And the little guy just looked up at me and So we've been just trying to make them real comfortable in bed and whatever, but they've been walking all over. They went outside, they ran down the driveway, and I really, like I said to Alex tonight when we were on our way to dinner, I said, did you think that they would be in a lot more pain? And he was like, I mean, we don't really know what kind of pain they're in. And I said, well, that's true, but like Boo Radley seems completely like better than normal, and Tucker just seems really tired, except for that he's pawing at his mouth. I think, like, I'm just hoping that, like, you know, the sutures are okay. But she told us that's normal. When I talked to her, she's like, they're gonna be like annoyed because it's like a different feeling in their mouth. So they called today, they called this morning to check on them, and she was like, their results, Peter, she was like, are like almost perfect for what I want. She was like, everything came out just so well. I'm so happy with how it all turned out. And she was like, you know, that's why the surgeries went so short, and it was, you know, better than I could have hoped for. So she was like, they're gonna heal very quickly. And she was like, you know, and she was like, and you'll be happy that, you know, I already am happy that we did it. So there's the little puppy dogs, and they were sleeping when I left. And yeah, what else did I do today? I can't think of what else I did. Alex's friend for her birthday today, I think there's only like 3 or 4 people that they went with, but she wanted to do like a pole dancing class. And so they went, he had that this afternoon. And I said, he goes, do you want me to send you a video? And I said, yeah, send me a video of you pole dancing, because I think it's going to be harder than you think it's going to be. And so when he came home, he was so tired. And I said, well, how was it? And he goes, it's not what you think at all. And I said, I said, did you learn how to, like, you know, go upside down on the pole and stuff like that? And he was like, no, it's none of that. He was like, I mean, some of the girls could do that. He was like, because he was the only guy. And I said, was it hard? He goes, it was so hard. He goes, that is like a major workout. He goes, I understand now why people like really like the pole dancing classes and stuff. He goes, it's like an intense workout. So he was telling me like what they were learning and what they were doing, and he was like, even just holding onto the pole and walking around, and you're supposed to do it like at a certain speed and put your leg up and stuff. He goes, it's a lot. And this is, I mean, he's been doing that hot yoga and Pilates and stuff now for like over a month, and he goes like every other day or every day. So like, I was kind of surprised that he had such a hard time doing it today. But my husband looked so hot for dinner tonight. He had, like, I can really tell that he's getting in shape. He had on these, like, skin tight, like, black jeans that had, like, holes, like, on the thigh and on the knee. And then he had on those Doc Marten platform boots that I bought him. And then he had on this, like, shirt that was hanging down over it that was really cool that he had gotten at ASOS. And his hair looked really good. I love my husband's hair when it's, like, curly and really dark, and right now it's like super curly, and he just kind of like gels it back. I tried to wear my Doc Martens tonight that I bought, and I told Alex, I said, I don't think I'm ever going to be able to fit my foot into these shoes. And he was like, why did you buy that size then? And I said, because he told me that these are the size when I was trying them on. Like, I tried on a bigger size and my foot was sliding out of it, and I was like, this is Blister City. I'm never going to be able to wear these. So the guy was like, this is how you need to wear them, because Doc Marten is this and whatever. But like, I literally almost I could have worn them tonight, but like, it would have been really hard for me to like tie my shoe. And Alex was like, you're going to have, I got these like oxblood Doc Martens like 3 months ago, and Alex was like, you're gonna have to stretch them out. And I'm like, I know, but that just seems ridiculous to me to have to stretch out a leather shoe. I just think I'm like at the age where I don't like enjoy wearing shoes that are like leather and uncomfortable like that. I think I'm more into like a comfortable shoe. But I really, and he said his Doc Marten boots are super comfortable, but I really I wanted to wear it. I miss wearing the Doc Martens. I don't remember them being this uncomfortable. I don't know, maybe I got the wrong size or the wrong shoe or something. It stopped. But I remember them being super comfortable back in the day when I would wear them, and I had a couple different pairs. I like literally, well, I have these Bomba socks on too that Sarah got me, but they're not thick. These socks are kind of thin. I don't know. It's just like I put my foot in these shoes, and I was like, I don't think these shoes are gonna happen tonight. Now it's like, well, you're gonna have to stretch them out. That water tastes good. She kept on bringing me Diet Cokes at dinner. I had 3 Diet Cokes. I was like, okay, I don't need any more Diet Coke. They were really good, though. I sometimes don't wear this shirt, because I'm like, it was like a nice shirt when I bought it, and I'm like, I got it at Macy's. It's some nice brand, and it's like where the Columbia stuff is and all that. But then when I put it on, I feel like it just looks like, I don't know, I feel like it just kind of looks corny on me or something. I miss the days. This is what I would love to get back to. That guy in this is not the red pickup truck. I'm just going to say this right now from Richie Woods. But this guy over here, I mean, no matter what time of day, maybe it is him. I don't know. Could be. But he sits in this red pickup truck over here, you guys. Like, if every time I come to this parking lot and I'm vlogging and I drive by him, he's sitting in that red pickup truck. It's 3:04 a.m. Nothing is open. Okay, nothing. And he's sitting in that red pickup truck, just sitting there. Every time. I would roll back through here and show you guys, but it kind of scares me. I started listening to And Then There Were None last night by Agatha Christie, which I think they made a new movie, or TV series, like a 4-part series or something about a couple years ago. Maybe like a year or 2 ago, somebody told me about it to watch it. And I don't remember what it's on. I think maybe Amazon Prime or something. If somebody knows, will you put it in the comment section below. But what's interesting about this is this, okay? I read this book when I think we had to read it in like junior high, like it wouldn't have been 5th grade, like 6th, 7th grade, maybe 7th grade. We had to read And Then There Were None. Which I believe was under a different title back then. Well, I didn't even know this until like a year or 2 ago. Agatha Christie, apparently there's like all these issues about how she's like a highly problematic writer. I don't even know all of them, to be honest with you. But I saw this it was like trending on Audible. And I was like, oh, I wanted to watch that movie on Amazon Prime, but I want to read the book again first, because I know people, it's like their favorite Agatha Christie book. But I was like, I remember this book specific, and I knew why it was problematic. Because back in the day, it used to be called, well, I don't want to say on here because it's just problematic, but anyway, but what's so weird, and I'm like, when did they change this? So, for those of you that haven't read the book, this conversation will mean nothing to you, okay? But if you've read the book and you know what it used to be called, and you know it's about 10 little, okay. In the book now that I'm listening to, they've changed the whole thing. And I had forgotten, too, that there were, like, these statues on the dining room table and everything. Okay, they've now changed it to 10 Little Soldiers. And the poem that's in everybody's room is 10 Little Soldiers. And the things that are on the figurines that are on the dining room table are 10 Little Soldiers. Okay, what's so weird to me about that is that they had to go in at some point and re-edit that entire book, because they have conversations about this in the book, which means they had to highly go in there and edit this book. And I was like sitting there listening to it last night. It's okay. You guys, I have to be honest with you, like, I like Agatha Christie books. Like, I liked Murder on the Orient Express when I reread that a couple years ago before I watched the movie. But it was just okay. I used to love her books when I was a kid. I was, like, obsessed with her books. And, oh, I know why I was thinking about her, because when I was listening to Behind Closed Doors the other day, in the book, the main character has a sister that listens to specifically Agatha Christie audiobooks. Like, she's always bringing her an Agatha Christie audiobook. And so for some reason I started thinking about it, because there's a lot of Agatha Christie audiobooks that are free on Audible that you can download if you have the membership. They're included. And then I had recently, about, I don't know, a couple months ago, I had bought Death on the Nile, which was one of my favorite movies with, like, Peter Houston. Is it Peter? What's his name? Peter, he plays Hercule Poirot. But anyway, that one I loved, and I also loved Evil Under the Sun back in the day. So I got Death on the Nile because I think they're remaking that movie, is what I heard. So when I saw And Then There Were None, it was like really cheap to buy on Audible. Like, to buy 3 Audible credits, you can buy them like in 3s if you've already gone through your credits. It's like 33 something. It comes down to like 11.47 or 57 or something like that, a credit. And then a credit equals a book, right? So you can buy a credit for like 11.37 and end up buying like a $40 book if you wanted to, or a $30 or $20. I mean, a lot of the books that are brand new are like anywhere from like 19 something to like $24, $23 or something like that. So what I do, because I don't want to pay that much for a book, is I just buy the extra credits and then I use them on there. Okay. But I don't like to buy a credit and then use it on a book that's almost identical to the same price. Does that make sense? It's stupid. Like, I should buy a credit and spend it on a book that's more expensive. So sometimes when the books are cheaper than that, or they're about that same price, I just outright buy the book. Well, that's what I did with And Then There Were None, and it's really short. It's like 6 hours, like right at 6 hours or 6.5 hours or something like that. But I'm sitting there listening to it last night. Well, first of all, it's just really not that good that it's holding my attention. I think because back in the day, Agatha Christie was like her mysteries were fantastic, right? But like today, and they still are good, they still hold their own, but there are so many really great mystery writers out there today, that it's just a different world when it comes to mysteries and thrillers. But I mean, she was one of the first. So I'm sitting there listening to it, and I'm like, they had to do like a major edit on this book. Like, major edit on this book. So I thought that was interesting. Does anybody know anything about that? I was going to look that up today and Google it, and I didn't. I don't really know anything about it. I'll tell you what was so funny was that since I have started YouTube, people have tried to get me to read a Colleen Hoover book. People have sent me Colleen Hoover books. People have recommended Colleen Hoover books to me and said, oh, Peter, you would love Colleen Hoover. You would love her so much, blah, 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 whatever. And I've really, I looked at some of her books, but I haven't really been that interested. But recently, there was a big sale on Audible, and it was a lot of really good books. And so I bought Verite by Colleen Hoover. It's like a thriller, supposedly. So Tanya was in my car the other day, and I was like, she got in the car, she said something about being tired, and I said, why are you tired? And she said, well, I started a book yesterday afternoon, and I finished it in like one setting. It was like free on the Kindle. And I said, well, what book was it? And she's like, it's called like Veritas, or it's a thriller. And she goes, oh my God, it was so good I couldn't put it down. And I go, is it called Verite by Colleen Hoover? She goes, that's it. She goes, let me tell you. I said, don't you dare tell me what this book is about. I said, I just bought it on no, let me tell you. I said, Tanya, you do this every single time. You tell me the whole damn book, and then there's no... To The Silent Patient, to this day, I own that on Audible, and I can't even listen to it, because I still... I'm just going to listen to it anyway. But Tanya told me the whole book. And then I was like, is it called The Silent Patient? Like, I said that to her before, and she goes, no, that's not it at all. And I said, because she sometimes, like... I think Kindle does something with, like, new bestsellers that they, like, when they're released, you can, like, get them that day for free or something. I don't know how it works, but she always gets these really great books for free. So I was like, is it called The Silent Patient? She's so funny. We do this to each other all the time with like books and movies. And she's like, no, I don't think that's it at all. That doesn't sound right. And then she got done with the the thing, and the next day, I think it was the next day, I was like reading it. I had bought it already, and I was reading the caption on Audible, and I was like, I'll be damned if Tanya didn't tell me that whole damn book last night and the ending. And I told her, I said, Tanya, I said, the next time I saw her, I was like, something like this, I can't remember how it went, but I was like, you told me that wasn't the silent patient, and I looked, and she's like, did I? She started laughing. She thought it was so funny. I said, now I own this book that I already know what happens in it. I said, you ruined this book for me. She's so funny. Anyway, I have so many good books to listen to right now. I mean, I have so many good books to listen to right now. Jen, that gifted me 8 Audible credits, and she let me pick the books, which was just, I mean, it was such an unbelievable gift. And she told me that she watches my vlog. She's like, thank you for the shout out on your vlog. I was like, girl, I didn't even know you watched my vlog, so thank you, Jen. You are one of the nicest people in the entire world, and you didn't have to do that. And I just want to say, like, you have literally made my week. That was like such a cool gift. But you guys, then she reached out to me and she said, hey, I have 3 more. And I was like, what? And she was like, I have 3 more credits. And I'm like, you want me to pick 3 more books? And she was like, yes, please. And at that point, I was like, well, all right. I mean, I will. So I picked a John Grisham book. I can't remember what else I picked. Oh, I picked this new mystery thriller called Sanitarium. I tried to go in and pick all books that are kind of newer that I'm excited about, except for the John Grisham book is not newer. It's The Whistler, I think. But I haven't listened to a John Grisham book or read a John Grisham book in a while, and I kind of missed reading it. Oh, Camino Winds. Last year I read in Camino Island, but I kind of miss reading his books. So I might start up that thing again this summer where I was doing, what do you call it? Grocery store paperbacks, like just like hot off the presses, where I would pick like, you know, like some Sidney Sheldon or James Patterson or John Grisham or David Baldacci. I might do that again and just pick some book every month that's just like a fun read that you can get at the grocery store. What do you think about that? I think I might do that again. But anyway, wasn't that such a nice gift? I mean, I was like telling Alex today, I was like, oh my God, because she reached out to him too, because I didn't see the message, and so I didn't respond to her. And I was like, wasn't that the nicest thing? He was like, people, he goes, Peter, people are so nice to you. People literally are so unbelievably nice to me, you guys, and to Alex and the dogs. And you guys are just, I mean, the comments that you leave and the things that you say, and it's just, I like to think, personally, that I have the best audience on YouTube, and that doesn't have anything to do with me. That has to do with you guys. You guys are some of the most kind-hearted people I've ever met in my entire life. I mean, honestly, you really are. And especially it's so seen, like in the comment section of the vlog, when somebody will say they're having a hard time, a hard day, or something's happened in their life, and then there's like 10 comments or 5 comments underneath there. Usually Linda is always leading the crowd, which I think, I've never met her, I don't know her, but I have to believe that Linda is probably one of the most kind-hearted people ever, because she's one of the first people that always responds to everybody in the comment sections when they're going through something. And you know, like just all of you guys doing that just is very telling about the comment section. And I know that there are people that are not comfortable commenting, and I'm not somebody that comments a lot on videos, so I totally get it. Like, I rarely ever, if I watch a video, comment on it, like almost never, you know? And but I love when you guys do. But I also understand, you know, I'll get an email every once in a while from somebody, and they'll say, hey, you know, like, I have watched your vlog literally since day one, and I've never commented, but I just wanted you to know, like, I really enjoy your videos, and they really help me, and they're a part of my life every single day. And I mean, just to get an email like that is like, it's so nice. I don't know. It's the nicest thing. You guys are so kind and just so generous. Can you believe that we're having like rain like this again? I have gone from topic to topic to topic to topic tonight. I just like keep on like transitioning. This rain is crazy. I can't believe that we're having more rain again tonight. Although it's nice. It was 57 today, you guys. It's 45 right now. But right before I left, I like walked outside and I was like, oh my, it was like pouring down rain, and then it stopped for a second. I got it to my car, which I was thankful for, because I didn't want to have to like run out to my car in the pouring rain. Now tomorrow, I have a video pre-filmed for my drama channel, and then of course I'll post my vlog. I did a long Peterisms video today, so I'm not going to post that tomorrow, and I was like, because I'm doing inventory with my sponsor, Alex and I are going to go to brunch, and then we're going to come home, and I'm going to take a nap for like an hour and a half and just get rested, and then I'm going to take a really nice shower and everything and get cozy, and then go and head over to her house about 6:30, and she's going to make us coffees, and we're just going to sit down and do a bunch of inventory and go through all the stuff that I have written down. I'm really excited about it, honestly. She's like, we were talking about it tonight on the phone, and you know, I haven't done like a big inventory like this in a long time, but she was like, now we probably won't get to everything unless you want to stay till 4 o'clock in the morning. I was like, oh my God. She was like, but you know, she was like, we can come over and do it, you know, later in the week, but she's like, you're going to feel so good, like working through this. And the thing that is really awesome about doing inventory is that one of the things that you start to recognize is patterns in your life of how people treat you and how you treat people, and expectations for people. And, you know, and like that, maybe that's a good example. Like maybe one of the things you'll realize is like your part, like this is silly, but maybe your part in a lot of things that happen is that you have too high of expectations for people. And so you start looking at things and you're like, well, I had too high of expectations for this person, and too high of expectations for that person, and too high of expectations for this person. And when you look at that overall and you see, well, the majority of the people in my life, you know, because you don't inventory everybody in your life, you just inventory people or situations that you have resentments towards. Well, when you start looking at that, and a resentment is an unfulfilled expectation, right? It's when I thought a situation should have turned out differently, or I thought somebody should have acted differently than they did, you know, then I can look at that and I can say, whoa, wait a second, okay? Why do I have unrealistic expectations for people? Why do I think that people should act so phenomenally? You know, I am just a human being. I fault too. Why should I expect more from them than I do of myself? I need to lower my expectations. I need to lower them to the point where I don't have expectations for people anymore, you know? Because then people will ultimately surprise you by acting in really gracious ways. Most of them. Some people not, you know? But then then you start looking at, you know, yourself in situations and go, well, you know, was I angry in these situations? You know, like in the past, that's something that I've really had to look at, was my anger, you know, in situations. That was a common thread in my interactions with people, that my part was that I reacted in anger. I don't want to react in anger. I don't want to be an angry person. I don't want to be seen as an angry person. You know, I want people to want me to be in their life. And I want to be in people's lives. And so, you know, I had to take a look at where was that anger coming from. You know, and a big part of that anger was coming, I mean, anger is a secondary emotion, so a lot of that anger was coming from hurt feelings. Yet again, me feeling like certain situations should have turned out differently than they did, you know, and my feelings were hurt. Or, you know, I was, whatever the reason was why my feelings were hurt, you know? But hurt feelings are not a reason ever to react out of anger. And I really learned that. And I also learned, you know, because we looked at people in my life that in the past have reacted to me in anger. And, you know, one of the things that my sponsor pointed out to me was, how do you respond when somebody acts angry towards you? Or like, what do you hear from that? And I shut down immediately. Like, I don't hear a lot when people are coming at me with anger. You know, I don't like it. And honestly, like, other than being at school, like, I didn't grow up with a lot of anger around me. That was like one thing I didn't grow up with. So I'm not used to it. I don't know how to handle it, right? And I also think that anger is a very selfish emotion sometimes. Like, I think it's fair to feel anger, but it's not fair to take it out on other people, if that makes sense, you know? Because when we're angry, other people suffer. And so I really had to take a look at that and realize, wow, like, I don't like when people talk to me out of anger. I don't like when people, you know, are speaking to me with anger. I don't really listen to what they have to say. So if I want, you know, people to if I want people to like me, if I want people to listen to what I have to say and hear it, not just hear it, but listen to it, then I need to not do that. And I'm not happy when I'm living in anger. I'm happy when I'm living in peace and serenity. I'm not happy in anger. Like, anger is not a good place for Peter to live. I don't talk about myself in third person, but I don't like living in anger, and I'm not proud of myself when I'm there, and I'm not happy. So this is the kind of stuff that inventory does. You look at this stuff and you say, okay, well, now what areas of my life has it affected, and what's my part in that? Well, my part is I reacted in anger. Okay, well, when you react in anger to one person, okay, maybe that's an isolated incident. When you react to anger to 6 or 7 or everybody in your life, and you can see that laid out, it's like, okay, maybe you have anger issues. Well, where does that come from? Well, for me, a lot of it was feeling that I was never understood, or that I was never heard, or that I was never validated, or that I was never accepted. And what I really realized, like, a big part of that was, it just doesn't matter. Like, it doesn't matter if somebody validates me or accepts me or, tells me that I'm right or wrong or whatever. That's not a reason to react or respond in anger. And I don't want to be that person that responds in anger. You know what I mean? And and it was weird for me too, because it was very easy for me. Like, anger was really an emotion that I was it was very easy for me just to let go of. And I think, it's easy. This is where, like, okay, when I talk about, like, not focusing on other people. Where is my lip balm in here? Okay, not my lip gloss, but my lip balm. Oh, there, it's sitting out of the bag next to my phone. One of the things that I would notice in my personal life was that I would stop reacting in anger to people, okay? Or specific people. That wouldn't be part of the language that I spoke anymore. And I would sit back and I would be like, man, these are some of the angriest people I've ever met in my entire life. Like, they literally live in anger all the time. And I couldn't see it until I removed myself from it, right? But at the same time, what I realized was that I could be sympathetic for them. Like, I could pray for them and feel for them, because I had lived in anger so long, and that was not a comfortable place to live, that I wouldn't want somebody else to live there either, and it made a lot of sense, The other thing that I realized was, it's not my job to take care of them. It's not my job to point out to them that they're angry. It's not my job to fix them. It's not my job to work on their toxicity. They need to do that. And like I've said in many videos, I'm way too selfish. Like, I want to work on myself. I don't want to sit at my sponsor's house and do 8 hours of inventory on other people. I want to sit there and do inventory on myself so that I can continue to grow and I can continue to see these things. Because see, when I see these things and then I work on them, it's just like, it's like after a sports game, when athletes sit with their coach and they look at the deficits of their game, right? And those are the things that they work on so that they're better the next time. This is what we're doing in inventory, is we're looking at our deficits and we're looking at what is not working in our life, and those are the things that you work on, right? But I don't need to sit here anymore and tell on somebody. And I mean, I'm not saying that I never do, or that, I mean, I'm human, like I said, but like, I don't have the need as much as I used to need to tell on somebody. If you knew what they did to me, if you knew how they treated me, whatever, like, it's not worth it to me today, and it makes me sad when I see other people do it, because it's like, you're spinning your wheels and you're not getting anywhere and you just seem miserable. And I have a lot of people in my life that are like that, But I think at that time, nobody could have said anything to me and I would have really seen it. People did say things to me and I still did. I was like, what are you talking about? No, this is justifiable anger. Well, no, it's not justifiable anger. It's a waste of energy is what it is. And I want to live in peace and serenity today. I just feel so much better as a result of it, and I don't want to live in anger anymore. And so I've had to do a lot of work on that. So it'll be interesting to see what comes out tomorrow. My list is not as big as, it's been in years past. And make it smaller and smaller, and it's just stuff that's come out in the last, you know, couple months and stuff like that. And some of it, though, actually, because I haven't done an inventory, like a huge inventory. We've done little things and certain people and things like that, but I haven't done a huge inventory since the year that I got sober. So we are going back and doing some things over, like the death of my mom. We're going to inventory some of that, and just kind of talk about that. You know, at that time, I was like really angry at God when that happened, and I mean, and that makes no sense to me, but I was. I mean, today it doesn't make a lot of sense to me, but then I was like, why would you take the person that was closest to me in my entire life? You know, why would you do this? I had nobody else to be angry at, so I guess I had to be angry at God, you know? So we're going to look at that tomorrow. I don't really feel that way today. I mean, hardly at all, but I do think it's important that I look at that, because I really haven't sat down with a sponsor and looked at that. I've sat in counseling and looked at that. But yeah, I'm excited about it tomorrow. We're going to go over all this stuff, and then my sponsor's birthday, her sobriety birthday, is this week. It's on Tuesday. So we're all going to the meeting on Tuesday, and she's going to get her coin, and she's going to go to our meeting this week, actually, because her home group doesn't meet in person. They're still Zooming, because they're in their church, their meeting, I think, is in a hospital. So I'm excited about that. So we'll get to see her on Tuesday as well. I love my sponsor so much. I mentioned in my drama video today about possibly doing a video with her. She's like, for a long time been like, I'd be in a video with you. So the more I thought about it, I thought, well, maybe I should do a video with her. Maybe just to help other people and see what that relationship is like, you know, and I don't know. She's really well spoken about this stuff, and she's a fantastic woman. I feel so blessed to have her in my life. Well, all right, you guys, listen, I'm going to get off here and listen to a little bit of my audiobook before I go home and go to sleep. So I'm going to drink the rest of my LaCroix and listen to my audiobook a little bit. And my very short audiobook. I'll probably be starting something new tomorrow to go into March 1st. I probably will. We'll see. Anyway, I hope that you guys are having a fantastic and amazing, I hope you're having an amazing Sunday. You know, it's my favorite day of the week. I hope you are renewing your soul and getting yourself refreshed and rejuvenated, and what's another word? Well, I can never think of the RE words before going into the week ahead. Refreshed. Oh my God, I did this like at the exact same spot one night. Do you remember this? Rekindled for the week ahead. And yeah, and there's got to be a better RE word than that, but rekindled, that doesn't work for this situation. Reinvigorated, does that work? Re-inspired. I don't know. Anyway, is it gonna stop? I think it's gonna stop in just a second. Most importantly, make sure that you reach out to somebody and let them know how much they mean to you. If nobody else has told you this today, I love you. Also, like I always say, practice random acts of kindness, but also, like I always say, don't tell anyone. Just do it because it's the right thing to do. It's a nice thing to do. Like it says in the 4 agreements, always lead with love. Let's put some compassion, kindness, understanding, grace. What else? Awe, wonder, kindness, goodness. Let's just put all kinds of positivity out there in the world. And let's refuel. There you go. Let's refuel for the week ahead and do something that is relaxing today. Oh, there's another one, relaxing today. And I love you guys so much. Thanks for listening, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye. Love ya! I forgot what I was going to say. Anyway, love you. Wait, see you guys tomorrow. Bye. Love ya.